We have here, as we said, in these 8 days, a celebration of Easter, culminating in the 8th day on Divine Mercy Sunday. And we're getting ready for that huge grace to cleanse us like a newborn baby, wipe us clean of not only all sins, but all the temporal punishment, everything clean. And so this is what's in the process of happening. So we reflect on the resurrection. Here, Mary at the tomb. Now, a lot of people said the apostles made up this story. First of all, if John made up this story, he never would have written about a woman witness. At the time, women had no credibility. Legally, you had to have 2 male witnesses to an event. Then it would be considered truthful. If John made this up, his story would have been 2 men witness this. Certainly not a single woman. That would have been the last thing he would have used to try to convince an audience that this is true. But why did he say that then? Because that's what happened. This is what really is the truth. And so Mary goes to the apostles. In the other Gospels, it tells us Peter shows that he was acknowledged the leader of the apostles. That's where we have the primacy of Peter and the chair of Peter with the papacy, even though he had messed up. Now, we also see here in the Bible, it's very rare in the Bible when somebody encountered an angel and was not fearful. But yet, she's so casual. She's just like talking to them like you would talk to your neighbor. It shows that Mary may have been so grieved that she was even unaffected by an angel. Think of how much that must have affected her. If not even seeing an angel affects you. It was custom at this time to visit the tomb of the deceased 3 days after the body had been laid to rest. Why? Why did they wait 3 days? Jesus fit this whole thing in perfectly. It was believed that for 3 days, the spirit of the dead person hovered around the tomb. But then, after that, departed because the body would become decayed. And so Jesus' friends, they weren't able to come on the Sabbath. He was crucified on Friday. They weren't able to come on Saturday because it was a Sabbath. So it was on Sunday. That's why the scriptures always say the first day of the week. And so this is the first day of the week. And now coming up this Sunday, Divine Mercy Sunday, the reading says the first day of the week he came and breathed on them. It's a new creation. And so St. John Chrysostom said, Christ's body being buried, because this is the other argument people make. Well, somebody stole the body. Mary was really there. She really saw an empty tomb. She really thought Jesus resurrected, but the body must have been taken. But the body was buried with myrrh. The linen that we know was in the tomb would have stuck to the body with the myrrh. It had been impossible to steal that body and to take away that body without the linen cloths. And the linen, it says very detailed. They have witnesses that it was left behind. And the shroud itself, the shroud of Turin that we believe is the burial cloth of Christ, has no blood smears at all. It was folded nicely. Now, if a grave robber would have visited there, they would not have taken the body. Grave robbers came, they didn't care about the body. They wanted what was in the tomb. So if a grave robber came, he would have taken the linen. This was a very fine linen, we know this. Very expensive weave. The woven linen would have been worth a lot of money. So if a grave robber would have come, first of all, to separate the linen from the body, it would have been smeared with blood. Secondly, the linen was left. If a grave robber came, it would have been the opposite. The linen would have been gone and the body would have been left. But yet that's the opposite. And so this linen was folded up, and the body of Jesus is almost like had just evaporated through it. Really amazing. The smears, even the blood on the shroud, are not smeared. It's like it was laid on as the body was bleeding, and then like the body just evaporated through it. How do you envision the resurrection? Like this big burst of light. So Mary says then, I will take him away. Tell me where you put him. Now, that's kind of interesting, because how would this little lady be able to carry a fully grown man? Would she have had the strength to do that? Of course not. Where was she going to take him? How was she going to take him by herself? She had not even thought of these things, because she was so focused on Christ. Her one desire was to show her love for the dead body. So Mary here plays an important role. Mary Magdalene we're talking about. She loved Jesus so much that God allowed her to be the first witness at the tomb. Likewise, John loved Jesus so much that he was the first man at the tomb. She was the first woman, he was the first man. Remember, he ran with Peter and then outran Peter, but then deferred to Peter, letting him go in first, showing primacy. And so John so loved Jesus, he was the first to believe in the resurrection, so he was the first to reach the tomb as well, as a man. Love gave John the eyes to see what was happening and a mind to understand it, but not Mary. Why didn't she recognize Jesus if she loved him so much? Much simpler love. Perhaps she could not see through her tears. I've always mentioned that. Or because maybe she could not take her eyes off the tomb. It says Jesus came from behind her. It says here, when she did this, she then turned around. So in other words, he may have been behind her when she was talking at first, and maybe she didn't see him. But either way, Jesus says to her, touch me not, for I have not yet ascended to the Father. Just a few verses later, we're going to see him inviting Thomas to touch him. Touch me, Thomas. Put your hands in my wounds. Now, why would he tell Mary not to touch him, but yet John to touch him? Has nothing to do with defilement. No. If you look at the Greek that came from the Aramaic words that Jesus would have spoken, he would have basically said, Mary, do not detain me in your joy. Do not hold me up. Go and tell the good news to the rest of my disciples, because I'm going to go meet them. Don't delay me. Had nothing to do with defilement. Jesus was not protesting that Mary should not touch him, that he would be defiled. He was telling her not to detain him because he would see her again, and he did before he ascended. So why did Jesus ascend? Why did he say it's a good thing that I leave you? Well, first of all, he didn't leave us. He left us with the Eucharist. He promised, I will be with you to the end of time. How did he do that? The Eucharist. This is how. So when Jesus returned to the Father, the good news is he sends the Holy Spirit. That's the good news. The Holy Spirit will teach them all things, complete their union with the Father and the Son. And so what we are seeing here is a setting up for the basis of our faith. These 8 days are extremely important. These 8 days are, as we enter into preparation for Divine Mercy Sunday, the most important day where we'll be completely cleansed of not only all sin, but all punishment. Like starting over. I wish I could clean my slate. Now you can. This is the beauty. So we're getting ready these next few days to be able to receive this incredible grace on Sunday. So as I said the other day, stay tuned. We're going to be walking you through it. And join us, as I'll announce here at the end of Mass, on EWTN for that special day of Divine Mercy Sunday.